Welcome to the show before Sacrifice that should have had most of this show on it. I'm upset because most of what was going on in the show could have been put to Sacrifice, and I know it's not going to be a pay-per-view. Unless I'm wrong, it's not a pay-per-view show, it's a themed Impact. But it could have been left for that show. Let's go through everything else beforehand. The match that's going to be for next week on Sacrifice will be Beer Money versus Decay. Now, I was very confused at first when it came to the ladder match. I'll talk about that in a minute. But when Gail was taken by Rosemary, I didn't understand what was going on. But Rosemary made that segment so well. I know Gail screamed pretty well. A lot of guys like screaming girls in many different ways. So I'm not going any farther than that. But when it came down to it, Rosemary did such an incredible job. I love Rosemary. She's a very good talker as a woman. In the women's division, I'm sorry, I'm a little loopy right now. I took some medication for my allergy problem because last week I could not talk because my throat was really messed up. So I'm sorry if I seem a little loopy right now because the medicine's really kicking in. But essentially, when it came to Rosemary, she made the segment. And then when they went to the ring, I didn't understand still until they called out Beer Money. And then it makes sense. Decay is a deranged group that thinks the only chance they have to try and win a match is to do this. I enjoyed it, but I'm not going to enjoy if this is a Full Metal Mayhem match. I am not going to enjoy that. If it's a steel cage match, I'm fine with. Make it a Full Metal Mayhem match is stupid. Let it be a steel cage match. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Because I don't want to hear the... I'm forgetting about Monsters Balls. If they do Monsters Balls or Full Metal Mayhem, it's stupid. If they do a steel cage match, it's acceptable. That's just me personally. Now, since I did talk about it earlier, the ladder match for the knockouts. To see who would control the knockouts going from forward. I've said this before and I'll say it again. When it came to the knockouts, they've had the greatest type of women. When it came to 2011, even though Immortal was still going around and Fortune 4 was going around to a certain extent just before Aces and Eights, you had that match between a Tara versus a Mickie Jane in the steel cage. That is one of the best matches I've ever seen. Hands down. I loved it. This match isn't as great as that, but it was very good. But there was only one problem. They made Maria so predictable. Come on. They should have never done this. They could have done this as a match just for the Knockouts title. And that would have been better. But having this to see who controls the Knockouts, honestly, it wasn't necessary because they telegraphed it so much in the very beginning of it. Seeing Maria wiggle her ass on the steps, come on. It was obvious she was going to win. And when she won, she didn't make it interesting. She didn't. But still was a great match. Moving on. Al Snow, I don't understand that bit. I'm wishing that Grado is not really presented. I'm not even showing images of it. That's it. The thing I am going to be interested in seeing is Facts of Life by Eli Drake. The Master, oh my gosh, that hurts. But the Master of the Universe is now going to do his own segments called The Facts of Life. And who is the dummies in wrestling and the dummies in the audience? I want to see that. Eli Drake is one of the best talkers they have. You got the Pope, D'Angelo De Niro. You got EC3. You got Rockstar Spud. And you definitely got Eli Drake. Eli Drake is one of those four that you know that reliably can give you great talking segments. That is so good. I love it. And since I did admit that EC3 is a great talker, you got Mike Bennett and EC3 in the ring. You can see the difference between Mike and EC3. I'm sorry, Mike may not be as over as EC3, but even then you can see who can talk better. And Mike Bennett isn't as good of a talker as EC3. Maybe I'm being biased because the hardcore American icon is one of my more favorite wrestlers in TNA. But they are trying to make this about whose streak is more important. Well, what I mean by that, EC3 has a streak of 30 months. Mike Bennett generally has not really been beaten, but he hasn't won anything either. So in a sense, this is like my newness against your streak. Which one is better? Who's going forward? I'm kind of interested in it if they've only booked it a little bit longer and a little bit better. But I am interested in seeing how far this is going to go with EC3 because he didn't get submitted or pinned ever. Now, when it comes to Eli and Bram, that segment, I'm kind of confused about it. But it's kind of understandable. You want to do something different with Eli. So you said, well, I'm going to quit because it's just no one that can beat me. Bram's basically saying, hey, mate, what about me? 1, I'm not leaving. 2, that belt will look better on my waist because I'm a real man with balls. And what happens? Eli kicks him in his balls and beats him up. Cuts off his beard. Which I think is good for him because he's had that beard too long. This will actually be a good thing. Let him get clean cut. Let him get a new ring attire. He may actually be over when he gets the King of the Mountains title. I think that's the wisest thing to do. Now, let's see. Am I forgetting anything? Oh yeah, the XDivision. I barely paid any attention to it because it's barely been promoted. And even though it came to Trevor Lee, this angers me when it comes to Trevor Lee. He should have been promoted better. He should have been allowed to talk. And we didn't get that. We get something with DJZ last week, which was good. Eddie Edwards, which was good. But none for Trevor Lee. No love for him. And I say it again. I'm going to keep saying it. Hashtag XDivision for Explosion. TNA, please. You know this will work. Reorientate Explosion. I'm sure Pop is showing it on the weekends. Reorientate the entire show around the XDivision. Sometimes you throw in the King of the Mountain title. Sometimes you throw in the knockouts. Let them have a little segment on there, but devote this to the XDivision. And I'm sure people will love it. And you'll get better ratings there than you would generally get on your main show. And maybe you do pay-per-views again where you get more money. Come on. Because when you see this, it wasn't a very good match. And then this new person, Andrews Emirate, if I'm even pronouncing his name right, comes in. I don't care. Because he's not going to get very far. We're not going to get much in Eddie Edwards. We're not going to get much in DJZ. We're not going to get anything in Trevor Lee, who deserves better than anyone. The only person that's getting anything is Gregory Helms. And even then, he's not being fully spotlighted. Now, only got a few left. The Drew segment with... I was surprised. No. This is for last. I'm kind of drowsy right now, so forgive me. I'm sorry. The 2 things I'm going to focus on next will be... If I'm forgetting anything, I'm sorry. One will be the Hardys. This should have been left for Sacrifice because this was a good match between them. Neither one of them I quitted. The video segments for both of them were not bad. And in the end, that swanton off of 30-foot steps onto his brother, and his brother gets the cast, and his wife is saying, Jesus, do something, move his legs, Jesus. Yes, Remy, we hear your voice. I like your boobs, but tone it down a little bit, girl, please. As they say, calm your titties, please. Oh my goodness. It wasn't a bad ending of the show. I did enjoy it. And let's see here. Am I forgetting anything? If I'm forgetting anything, I'm sorry. So I'm focusing on Tyrus now. I've said this before about Tyrus, and I say it again. I really believe Tyrus was typecasted just to be a bodyguard. I don't know if they're actually going to go for this. Now that Matt Hardy is not in the picture because of his injury, I doubt they're going to bring him back so he can actually go after Drew's title. So this is about Tyrus and the incredible, edible Drew Galloway. And ladies will think that more than men. But I was surprised they went down this road. I was surprised they finally pulled the trigger on letting Tyrus get a title shot finally because of what happened last year and Bound for Gold. And now we actually have Rockstar Spud in this corner, who's a way better target than Tyrus, which I'm alright with, but you guys tell me below. I'm kind of nervous about how Rockstar Spud was acting because he kind of looked like he was hype on some shit. And I'm hoping that he just wanted to hype how crazy he is because Rockstar Spud is a crazy superstar. That's what I'm hoping for, and he's not drugged out. I'm pleased don't let him be drugged out. But I'm interested in seeing if they will pull the trigger on Tyrus. Even if it's not for long. Like I said with Matt Hardy, Tyrus can be a transitional champion. There's nothing wrong with Tyrus holding the title for a month or so to try and build up Drew, to give him something interesting. They already got him hurt his ribs because of Lashley. Let him have a battle with Lashley while you let Tyrus hold the title for a little while and let him get a little bit of a shine. The guy has deserved way better than what he's been getting. Hell, the fucking Funkadactyls and the Funkasaurus was actually getting over in 2012 to 13, and when they got over a bit, what did the WWE do? They buried their ass, and it wasn't because they didn't have talent. It's because they didn't want them over. Why not give Tyrus this gift? Why not let him hold the title for a few weeks to a month? Come on, ladies and gentlemen. The guy has worked. Come on. Let him have it. I'm not a big Tyrus fan, but I do like the guy. And I do believe he deserves this chance. If the freaking Abyss, who has been badly played out for many years. Allergies. Excuse me. The Abyss has been played out for quite a while. He had his chance with, what was it, with Parks. I can't remember his name right now. Forgot his name. When he was playing the opposite ego. It's been a while. He was good then. Now he's tired until he went into Decay. Why Joseph Park? I'm sorry. I really am drowsy. But why not give this to Tyrus? Give Tyrus a break. That's what I'm going to say for this video. I think that's the best name for it. Let him win it if he's scheduled to win. Let him hold it for a little while and then let Drew get it back. There's nothing wrong with that. Hell, let the monster Lashley get it back after letting Tyrus have a run for a couple of weeks with it. Or a month for that matter. Or give us something different. Someone you normally wouldn't see in the title scene. But this is just my point of view. Tell me how yours is. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry this video is a bit late. I've been out of whack lately because of my allergies. And in pain. So you guys have a good day and have a good night. Peace.